I'm 90 years old, and what I'm about to tell you will make you uncomfortable. Everything you believe about success is a lie. I know because I lived that lie for 70 years. I built a business empire, got Forbes recognition, earned the respect that comes with wealth. But at 68, my wife Eleanor died, and everything I thought I knew shattered. The funeral was beautiful. Hundreds attended, colleagues, business associates, people who knew my name from newspapers. I handled it efficiently like I handled everything. Then I went home to silence. Sitting at the mahogany desk where I'd spent thousands of nights working while Eleanor called from the bedroom, I found her journal. A leather-bound book I'd given her 30 years earlier and never asked if she used. She'd used it. Every single day. And here's what haunts me. If I died instead, what would I have left? A business sold within a year. A house cleared and listed. Achievements nobody would remember. But no real connection. No presence. Nothing that mattered. Let me save you 70 years of regret. I'll do it later. After this next goal. Then I'll focus on what matters. Then I'll be present. Then I'll live. That day never comes. The goalposts keep moving. You make partner, suddenly you need managing partner. Hit your revenue goal, suddenly you need to double it. You're always chasing something just out of reach, convincing yourself the next achievement will give you permission to live. Before you know it, you're 90, realizing that while you built an empire, the person who loved you was slowly disappearing. I spent 43 years married to Eleanor, and I was a stranger to her. You can't climb back down and start over. The people you lose don't come back. The moments you miss don't get replayed. Let me tell you what I mean. I was 22 when I met Eleanor under an oak tree, reading Hemingway. I said I'd own my own company someday. She smiled. That's nice. But what do you want to build a life around? I should have paid attention. We married a year later. Go build your dream, she'd say, kissing me goodbye at 6 a.m. I'll be here when you get home. The problem? I stopped coming home at reasonable hours. By 25, I was obsessed. My first promotion brought validation, respect, my father's approval. Eleanor threw a celebration dinner. I showed up an hour late, networking with a senior partner. She never complained, just reheated dinner and listened to me talk for 2 hours. I never asked about her day. At 28, I made junior partner. Eleanor was pregnant. She wanted me to cut back for doctor's appointments, nursery planning. After this next deal, I promised, then things will stabilize. The deal closed. I took on 2 more. Our daughter Emily was born while I was at a Chicago conference. Eleanor's sister called 3 times before I answered. I caught the first flight home with flowers and apologies. It's okay. Eleanor smiled from her hospital bed. You're here now. But I wasn't really there. The next decade blurred. Awards, acquisitions, achievements. Each came with the same pattern. Eleanor's quiet pride, my brief euphoria, then immediately chasing what came next. When are we taking that coast trip? She'd ask. Soon. Once I closed the Henderson deal. By my 30s, I barely knew my wife's middle name but could recite quarterly projections in my sleep. I missed birthdays, anniversaries, quiet evenings. They weren't productive. At 45, I came home late. Eleanor sat at the kitchen table, hands wrapped around cold tea. She looked up. Justin, do you even know what color my eyes are? I opened my mouth, certain I knew, and realized with horror I wasn't sure. After 22 years of marriage, I couldn't remember if her eyes were blue or green. She saw my hesitation, nodded like I'd confirmed something she'd suspected for years, then walked upstairs without a word. I should have followed her, should have chosen her over the next goal. Instead, I opened my laptop and reviewed quarterly projections. That was the moment I could have changed everything. But I thought I had time. I had no idea Eleanor had started keeping a journal that very night. Between 45 and 60, I became a master at not seeing what was in front of me. Eleanor stopped asking me to come to bed. 4 years she'd called from upstairs at midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Justin, it's late. Eventually it stopped. She'd given up competing with spreadsheets for my attention. I told myself this was progress, no more interruptions. What I didn't see was that she'd stopped fighting because she'd accepted I was already gone. At 48, Emily graduated college. Eleanor planned a celebration dinner for months. The night before, a Silicon Valley acquisition opportunity came through. Same time as the dinner, I called Eleanor from the car. "I know this is bad timing." "It's always bad timing, Justin." Her voice was flat, empty. "I'll make it up to her," I said. "She won't remember the makeup dinner. She'll remember you weren't there." I went to the meeting anyway. The deal fell through 6 months later. Emily never mentioned it again, which was worse than anger. By 52, Eleanor had entire routines I knew nothing about. Pottery classes Tuesdays, book club, library volunteer work. I found out the way you learn about a neighbor's life. Catching fragments, seeing flyers, noticing her absence. We lived like polite roommates. Coffee ready in the morning. Money transferred for groceries. Passing in hallways with small nods. At 55, I was named CEO. Eleanor came to the announcement gala in a blue dress I'd never seen. A reporter asked how it felt being married to such a successful man. She paused too long. "Lonely," then quickly laughed. "I meant, it's lonely at the top, right?" Everyone laughed. But I saw her face after. She wasn't joking. At 60, our grandson was born. Eleanor spent 3 weeks helping Emily, coming home exhausted but genuinely happy. "We should visit more often," she said. "Maybe next weekend? Just the two of us. I've got the board retreat, but you should go." She stood there waiting for something. When I finally looked up, her expression was something I'd never seen. Resignation. "You know what, Justin? I don't think you'd notice if I disappeared tomorrow. You'd probably just wonder vaguely where the coffee went. Don't be dramatic. I'm just busy." "You've been just busy for 38 years. I didn't respond. She walked upstairs. Our bedroom door closed with a soft click that sounded like surrender. That night, Eleanor made a doctor's appointment she didn't tell me about. 6 months later, she'd get a diagnosis that would kill her within 18 months. And she would choose not to tell me because she couldn't bear her death becoming another task I'd manage efficiently. I didn't know any of that. I was too busy building an empire to notice my wife was preparing to die alone. Eleanor died on a Monday morning in April. Heart attack. Sudden. She was 66. I was in London when Emily called. I caught the next flight, handled arrangements efficiently, and stood at her funeral feeling nothing. Not because I didn't care. I'd just become so good at compartmentalizing that I couldn't access emotions anymore. Hundreds came. Everyone said the same things. "She was lovely. You were lucky. She'll be missed." What nobody said was that they'd barely known her. Because I'd barely known her. Emily stayed briefly after, moving through rooms like a ghost. She stood in the kitchen doorway. "She really loved you. Even when—" She stopped. "Never mind." "Even when what?" She looked at me with Eleanor's eyes. "Even when you made it so hard." Then she left. I was alone in a house that had never felt empty because Eleanor had always filled it. Now the silence was deafening. I ended up in my study at 9 p.m., intending to review documents. That's when I saw it, her journal. Leather-bound, burgundy, sitting on my desk. The gift I'd given her 30 years ago and never asked about. I opened to a random page, dated 3 years earlier. Justin worked through our anniversary again. 40 years married, and he forgot. He's not cruel. He just doesn't see me anymore. I've become like furniture. Necessary. Expected. But not noticed. His phone rang during dinner and he took the call. I sat there 20 minutes, watching him pace, and realized I'd already mourned this marriage. I'm just waiting now. My hands shook. I flipped back further. Today I asked Justin if he remembered how we met. He looked blank. Said something vague about college. Right? We met under an oak tree. I was reading Hemingway. That man doesn't exist anymore. Or he does, but he saves that attention for board meetings. I get the leftovers. Entry after entry. Year after year. A chronicle of loneliness written by a woman 15 feet from her husband, separated by unbridgeable indifference. Then I found the entry from 5 years ago. Justin got Forbes recognition today. When I asked about our coast trip we've discussed for 30 years, he said next year when things settle down. I didn't argue. Things never settle down. I'm 63, and I've been waiting for my husband since I was 25. I don't think he even sees me anymore. I sat there 6 hours, reading, watching my marriage from her perspective. Every late night, every missed dinner, every postponed trip, all documented. Remembered. The deals I'd sacrificed her for? I couldn't remember half of them. But Eleanor remembered every moment I chose work over her. I reached the final entry, written 6 weeks before her death. I went to the doctor for the follow-up. The cancer has spread. 6 months, maybe less. I won't tell Justin. I already know what will happen. He'll manage my death efficiently without really being present. I've spent 43 years being invisible. I don't want my last 6 months watching him schedule my dying around meetings. The journal fell from my hands. Cancer. 6 months. She'd known. Carried it alone because she knew, that telling me would just turn her death into another task. And she was right. I walked to the bathroom at 3 a.m. and looked in the mirror. The successful CEO. The respected businessman. Behind me in the reflection. An empty house filled with things that didn't matter and memories I was too busy to make. Then I noticed something on Eleanor's vanity. A small wooden box tied with faded blue ribbon. My hands trembled as I reached for it. Inside the box were letters. Dozens of them. All addressed to me in Eleanor's handwriting. All sealed. All unsent. The first was dated 1985. The year Emily was born. Dear Justin, you missed her birth. Chicago was important, the conference mattered. But when they placed Emily in my arms and I looked for you, the emptiness felt bigger than joy. My sister held my hand instead. I saw pity in her eyes. I don't want to be pitied for marrying an ambitious man. But sitting alone with our daughter, I wondered if ambition was just another word for absence. I won't send this. You'd apologize, we'd move on, nothing would change. Love, Eleanor. Couldn't breathe. I opened another. 1992. Dear Justin, 7 years since you promised that coast trip. 7 years of next summer and when things settle down. I stopped mentioning it 6 months ago. Did you notice? I've started testing how long you can go without really seeing me. 3 weeks now. 17 conversations. Your eyes glaze over within 30 seconds. You nod at the right moments, but you're not here. I'm married to a ghost who pays the mortgage. Love, Eleanor. Each letter was a knife. She'd been documenting my abandonment in real time, sealing truths in envelopes she knew I'd never open. 1997. You asked what color my eyes are today. After 19 years, you hesitated. Green, Justin. They're green. They've always been green. You looked into them when you proposed, said they reminded you of summer. But you haven't really looked at me in so long you'd forgotten. 2003. Emily called. She's engaged. She asked if you'd walk her down the aisle, then added, if he can make time. Your own daughter doesn't expect you to show up for her wedding. I was sobbing. Full, gasping sobs. 2015. Today was our 40th anniversary. You forgot. I'd been dropping hints for weeks. Circled the date in red on the calendar. Mentioned it 3 times. Nothing. You came home at 11 p.m. Asked if I was feeling okay. I said, fine. You kissed my forehead and went to your office. I realized I'd spent 4 decades waiting for you to choose me, and you never would. The last letter, 3 months before she died. Dear Justin, the cancer is everywhere. 6 months, maybe less. I should tell you. But I already know how this goes. Research, specialists, treatment plans, all managed with competence you bring to hostile takeovers. You'll handle my death beautifully, efficiently, and still won't see me. So I've decided to die without telling you. Let you believe it was sudden, unexpected. Because watching you manage my dying with calendars and phone calls while I'm scared, I can't bear it. I've been invisible 43 years. I'll be invisible at the end too. I love you, Justin. But love isn't enough when the person you love has already left the building. Your ghost of a wife, Eleanor, collapsed. The letters scattered around me like evidence at a crime scene. I killed this woman slowly over decades. Not with violence, but with indifference. Murdered our marriage one missed dinner at a time. She documented it all. Not from spite, but because she needed someone to witness her loneliness, even if just herself. I stood eventually, legs shaking, and saw my reflection. Success. Failure. Both. I'd spent 70 years building monuments to significance on the grave of the only thing that mattered. But even then, holding that letter, crying, a voice whispered, "What do you do now? How do you fix this?" I couldn't even grieve without optimizing it. That's when I knew I didn't just need to change what I was doing. I needed to unlearn everything I believed about being alive. Then I saw it. One more item in the box. An envelope in different handwriting. Messier. Recent. From Emily. "Dad, Mom asked me to give this to you after. She made me promise to wait until you'd read her journal. If you haven't, stop. If you have, you're ready for this. I'm so sorry. Ing." Inside, a photograph and a note. The photo showed Eleanor in a hospital bed. Skeletal, barely recognizable. Emily beside her, holding her hand. Date stamp. 6 weeks before Eleanor died. I was in Tokyo that week.
Investor meetings.
The note. "Dad, Mom made me promise not to tell you about the cancer. She said you'd just manage it. But she wanted you to know. In her last week, when the pain was bad, she kept asking for you. Not the CEO. Not the busy version. The man she married under the oak tree. She died waiting for him. I held her hand instead. I was there. But I wasn't who she wanted. I don't know if I can forgive you for that. Emily." Eleanor died calling my name. I was 7,000 miles away, shaking hands with strangers who wouldn't remember me in 6 months. Then I heard it. The front door opening. Footsteps. Emily's voice, tight with emotion. "Dad, are you up there? I found something else in Mom's things. Something you need to see right now." Emily climbed the stairs slowly, carrying a shopping bag. Her eyes were red. When she looked at me, I saw heartbreak. "I found these in the back of Mom's closet," she said. Behind her winter coats. She pulled out birthday cards. Dozens of them, bound with a brittle rubber band. 43. One for each year of your marriage. My legs gave out. Emily handed me the first card, dated 1982. Inside, in Eleanor's young handwriting, "Happy birthday, my love. This year, can we finally put us first? I miss the man who quoted Hemingway and asked about my dreams. Come back to me. All my love, Eleanor." The same message. Year after year. The handwriting aging, shakier, but the hope remaining constant. 1985. "This year, can we finally put us first?" 1990. "This year, can we finally put us first?" 2000. "This year, can we finally put us first?" Emily watched me read, tears streaming. "She bought you a card every year, wrote in it, signed it, then hid it because she knew what you'd say. She knew you'd promise next year. So she stopped giving them to you." 2005. The handwriting was slanting. A coffee stain in the corner. She'd been crying. 2010. The question mark shaky, unsure, asking from habit, not hope. "Do you understand?" Emily's voice cracked. These are 43 years of hope dying. Year after year, she'd write the same question, then put it away because she'd accepted your answer. I picked up 2015, our 40th anniversary, the year I forgot. Eleanor's handwriting trembling. "This year, can we finally put us first?"
I'm 63. Justin.
I've been asking since I was 20. I don't think I'll get to ask many more times. Please, just see me. Just once, choose me over everything else. All my love. Still, somehow, after everything, Eleanor. She was already sick, Emily said quietly. She knew something was wrong. She knew time was running out. And she still hoped. The last card, 6 months before Eleanor died. My most recent birthday. I'd spent it in Seattle at a tech conference, giving a keynote. Eleanor's handwriting barely legible. This year, can we finally put us first?
I'm dying, Justin.
The doctors confirmed it today. 6 months, maybe less. I won't tell you. I already know how that ends. You'll manage my death like everything else, and I'll die being handled instead of held. This is the last card I'll write. 43 years of the same question. 43 years of hoping you'd see me. I understand now you never will. It's not cruelty, you're simply incapable. You can't put us first because there is no us for you. There's only the empire and the people you step over to build it. I'm tired, my love. So tired of being invisible. Happy birthday. I hope whatever you achieved this year was worth what you lost. Eleanor. The card fell. Emily picked it up, and her face hardened. She wrote this knowing she was dying. Her last birthday message to you. And she still couldn't send it because she knew you wouldn't hear it. Emily.
No.
You don't get to apologize your way out. She tried to tell you 1,000 ways over 43 years. You never listened. She gathered the cards carefully. I've been sorting through her life. A life you were too busy to participate in. And I realized, Mom didn't just lose you. She mourned you. She grieved the man she married while he was still alive, still in the house, still sleeping beside her. She'd already held a funeral for your marriage years before she died. These cards are tombstones. 43 graves marking the death of hope. Emily moved toward the door, stopped. There's one more thing. Mom made a video, 2 weeks before she died. She asked me to film it. A video? She wanted to say goodbye. The real goodbye. The one she knew she'd never get to say to you in person. Emily pulled out her phone. I wasn't going to show you, but now I think you need to see what you killed. She pressed play. Eleanor's face filled the screen. Gaunt, skeletal, eyes that had seen too much pain and waited too long. Hello, Justin. If you're watching this, I'm gone. And Emily showed you who you were to me. I need to tell you something I should have told you 43 years ago. Eleanor's face on the screen looked through me, past all my excuses. I need to tell you something I should have told you 43 years ago. I forgive you. The words hit like a blow. I forgive you for missing Emily's birth, for forgetting anniversaries, for choosing boardrooms over bedrooms, strangers over your wife, achievements over presents, for turning me invisible, because I finally understand you didn't do it to hurt me. You did it because you actually believed the lie. You believed someday, after the next deal, the next promotion, the next goal, you'd finally have time for us. You believed it so completely you sacrificed everything real for it. Tears filled her eyes. But someday never came. It never comes. You died too, Justin. Just slower than me. You died the day you stopped looking at me and started looking past me. You're a ghost who pays bills and closes deals and thinks he's alive because he's achieving things. She wiped her eyes. The cruelest part? I would have forgiven all of it if you'd just woken up. Just once. Just one morning where you chose me over everything else. But you never did. And now I'm dying, and you'll never get the chance. The video ended. Emily's voice was ice. That was 2 weeks before she died. She was in agony, couldn't eat, could barely breathe. And she used what strength she had left to absolve you. That's who Mom was. That's what you lost. My phone rang.
4 Uhr nachts.
Robert's wife, Margaret. Justin? Robert had a massive stroke. He's not going to make it. He's asking for you. Robert, my oldest friend. My business partner for 20 years. A man who'd built an identical empire with an identical cost. I drove to Mercy General in a daze. Found him in ICU, hooked to machines, half his face slack. Margaret sat beside him, exhausted, grief in her eyes, the same I'd seen in Eleanor's journal. "Justin," Robert slurred. "Close the door." Margaret left. Robert gestured weakly. "I was wrong. Everything we built. Wrong wall. Don't talk. Save your strength." No strength left. His good eye focused with terrible clarity. "Sarah, my wife, died 5 years ago. Remember?" I nodded. I'd been at the funeral. Brief. Back to work the next week. Her last words. "I wish I'd married the man you pretended to be." The machines beeped. Robert's breathing was labored. "My son won't come." Called him when stroke hit. He said, "Handle it like you handle everything. Without me." Tear rolled down. He learned from the best. I taught him I'd always choose work. So now he's choosing anything over me. "Robert, listen. We thought we were building empires. We were building tombs. Buried ourselves. Buried families. For what?" He clutched my hand. "The company's sold already. New owners erased our names within a year. Everything we sacrificed for, forgotten. But the people remember being forgotten." He started coughing, gasping. Doctors rushed in. I was pushed into the hallway where Margaret stood. "He worked through my birthday last month. 71, dying, and he still took a Singapore call during dinner." She looked at me. "Eleanor tried to warn me at that gala 10 years ago. Make him choose you while you still believe he might," she said. I laughed it off. A doctor emerged. "Mrs. Harrison? I'm sorry. He's gone." Robert died at 4:47 a.m., having spent 71 years believing he had time to start living after he finished achieving, discovering too late that achievement never finishes and time doesn't wait. I drove home in darkness, and it hit me. This wasn't just my failure. This was systematic. An entire generation sold the lie that success meant sacrifice, that providing meant presence could wait. We'd all climbed the same ladder. All reached the top and found nothing but regret. I pulled into my driveway as the sun rose. Emily's car was still there. She was on the porch steps, waiting. "What happened?" "Robert died. And I finally understand what your mother was trying to tell me." Emily's expression softened slightly. "Do you? Do you really? I can't fix what I did to her. I can't bring back 43 years. But I need to know." I looked at my daughter, really looked, maybe for the first time. "Is it too late for us?" Emily's eyes filled with tears. She opened her mouth when her phone rang. "It's the hospital. The one where Mom died. Why would they call at 6 a.m.? She answered, her face transforming to shock. "What? That's impossible. She's been dead 2 months. How can there be?" She listened. "Yes, I'll come right now." She hung up. "Dad, the hospital says Mom left something in a safe deposit box. Instructions to open it exactly 60 days after her death." She checked her phone. "Today is day 60. They say we need to come immediately. Both of us. Whatever's in that box." Mom wanted us to find it together. The safe deposit box sat between us like a bomb. Emily inserted her key with trembling hands. Inside, an envelope and a small digital recorder. The envelope read, "To be opened by Justin and Emily together, 60 days after my passing. This is my final gift. Use it wisely. Eleanor." Emily opened it. "My dearest ones, if you're reading this, Justin has finally seen what he refused to see for 43 years. Now comes the hard part. Living with it. Justin, you have a choice. Drown in guilt, paralyzed by regret, or do something infinitely harder. Change. Not for me, I'm gone. But for Emily. For your grandchildren. For every young person making your mistake. Emily, you have a choice too. Hold on to anger forever, or give your father something I never could, a deadline. 1 year to prove he's learned. 1 year to show up, be present, choose people over achievement. I've left a recording. Listen together. All my love, Mom." Emily pressed play. Eleanor's voice filled the room, stronger than in the video. Justin, by now you'll be 68. If you live to average expectancy, you have maybe 15 years left. 5,475 days. But realistically, how many healthy, active, able to make real memories? Maybe 10 years. You've wasted 70% of your life chasing achievements that won't matter and postponing presents that would have mattered eternally. Don't waste the final 30%. She paused. Emily, you're 43 now. If blessed, you have 40 years left to make different choices than we made. Don't inherit our mistakes. Break the pattern. If your father's ready to learn, teach him. Let him be the grandfather he never was as father. Eleanor was crying now. I timed this for 60 days because it's long enough for shock to fade and choice to begin. Justin, you've had 2 months to sit in what you've lost. Now focus on what you still have. Emily is here. Your grandson is 3, young enough you can become real to him. There are people around you making your mistakes right now, today. You can't save me, but you can save them. Turn regret into purpose. That's the only redemption available. The recording ended. Emily spoke first. I have a son who barely knows you. Mason is 3. When I bring him, you give him toys and check your phone. He calls you the tall man who lives in the big house. Not grandpa. The words gutted me. Mom was right. You can't fix what you did to her. But you could try with Mason. With me. If you actually meant it.
Ido.
I swear. Don't swear. Show me. Mom gave you a year. Prove you've learned. Starting now. That was 22 years ago. I'm 90 now. I can tell you exactly what I did with Eleanor's final gift of time. I sold the company within 6 months. Everyone thought I was crazy. But Emily's words haunted me. Mason calls you the tall man. I'd lost 1 generation. I refused to lose another. I showed up every week at Emily's. Not with toys. With time. I learned to change diapers at 68. Read bedtime stories. Built block towers. Learned cartoon character names. Mason is 25 now. He calls me grandpa. Last month he told his fiancée, my grandfather taught me success means being the person people run toward, not the person they make excuses for. I wept when Emily told me, but it wasn't enough to just fix my family. Eleanor's voice haunted me. There are people making your mistakes right now. So I started talking. Coffee shops, events, mentoring. I told them Eleanor's story, Robert's story, showed them the cards, read journal entries. I said what no one told me at 25. The ladder leads nowhere. Someday never comes. The people you're postponing won't wait forever. Some listened. Many didn't, so certain they had time, convinced they were different. At 75, early stage dementia. 10 years before things got bad. At 80, I started forgetting things. But never Eleanor. Never the journal. Never the 43 cards. At 85, I moved in with Emily. Mason visited Sundays with his wife and newborn daughter. My great-granddaughter. Now I'm 90. Dementia is winning. Some days I don't remember breakfast. But I remember Eleanor's face. The moment I read her journal. Realizing I'd wasted a life I could never get back. And I remember, you're reading this, which means you still have time. Not unlimited. Not someday. But now time. Today time. This moment time. Yesterday Emily came to my room, sat on my bed, held my hand. Dad, I need to tell you something. Her eyes were red. Mason called. Huge promotion. VP level. Dream job. But it means relocating, 80-hour weeks, away from family for 5 years minimum. My heart stopped. I asked what he'd do, Emily continued. He said something that broke and healed my heart. She squeezed my hand. He said, I watched Grandpa spend 22 years trying to make up for 43 years of absence. The math doesn't work. I'm not making that trade. I'm choosing my daughter over the corner office. Grandpa taught me some mistakes you don't get to fix. You only get to not make them in the first place. Tears streamed down my face. He learned. He learned. You didn't save Mom, but you saved him. That has to count for something. It does. God help me, it does. I'm 90 years old. I have weeks left, maybe days. The dementia is taking everything. But it can't take this truth. Eleanor was right. The people you love won't wait forever. The time you think you have is already running out. Achievements will be forgotten long before the neglected stop remembering they were neglected. 2 days ago, Emily found something that changed everything. One final item in Eleanor's belongings we'd missed for 22 years. This morning she walked in, pale as death, holding an old videotape. "Dad," she whispered. "This is labeled 'Play this for Justin on his 90th birthday.' Today. It's from Mom. There's more. Something she never told us. Something that changes everything." That's today's story. If it spoke to you, tell me in the comments where you're watching from and what part touched you most. Subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's beautiful story, because every day here is a new lesson, a new perspective, a new chance to grow. I'll see you in the next one.